Sarah here with your 3 poses for extension of the spine, better known as heart openers or back bends. So quick intro. So your spine works in 4 different ways, right? So you have flexion, which is coming forward. You have extension, which are these beautiful back bends we're going to do. Then you have rotations, which are lovely twists. We'll get to those later. And then you have the lateral sheath, which we just completed in our last video. So for today's practice in heart openers and back bends, you're going to want to have a block. If you don't have a block, you can also use a pillow or 2. And they don't have to be fun and fancy like this. They can look like the pillows from your bed or the pillows from your couch. Pretty simple, pretty easy. So we're going to start prone or face down on the mat. So swinging around to your belly, slowly coming down. Get these pillows out of my way first. So we're going to start in Sphinx pose. So you're going to look like one of those little Egyptian sphinxes with your elbows directly underneath your shoulders. Pull your heart through a little bit. If this hurts in your low back, if you're getting a little bit too much compression, gently tug your pubic bone into the mat, lifting up your belly ever so slightly and taking that compression. You can probably see it in the video, taking that compression out of your low back. So this is your little heart opener. Draw the shoulder points back in space. Look forward. If you want to release your neck, you can, and get a lovely little stretch through the cervical spine, the back of your neck. Now you can stay here, or if you're like, Sarah, no, I can't hold myself up. You can take your pillows, throw them underneath the rib cage, like underneath where the ribs start to expand and become 2 separate parts. I think that's called the xiphoid process, to be perfectly honest. And you can stay here, or you can maybe let your elbows come out to the side, and you can still see that you've got that little mini back bend. Breathing here, in through your nose, and out through your nose. Now this is lovely, this is juicy. This is your Goldilocks, this is your porridge that's just right place, then stay here. If you would like to get a little bit deeper, then come back to your Sphinx pose. Maybe you take your pillows out. And then we're going to move this, kind of the same pose. If you press into your palms and begin to straighten your arms, it becomes a pose called seal. So Sphinx or seal today. Take 5 to 10 breaths here. If at any point this becomes too much for you, you can walk your palms away. Use that belly activation, strengthening the front of the body to lengthen the back. And then giving yourself a little rest when you're done. On your exhale, draw your elbows out to the side. Maybe place your palms on top of one another like a little pillow, and take your left cheek to the mat or your left cheek to your palms. Big breath, big belly breath, and it's going to feel in your low back. You're going to feel it there. Just going to expand and release. And then switch. Take your right ear and cheek down to the mat. And then inhale, gaze forward, take your palms back maybe underneath your shoulders, or find some way to get out of there, right? Get out of the pose. I'm going to bend my knees and come up and back. And then scoot my knees forward towards my palms. Tuck all 10 of my toes. And then come up to a high kneel. This next pose that we're going into is called camel pose. So this is a big, juicy back bend. And there's a ton of variations for it. So we're going to start small, and then I'll work into the full expression of the pose. Flip your fingertips like you're going to give your low back a high five. This is your little safety belt, right? They're like, those little Home Depot safety belts when you're lifting heavy objects. These 2 palms are your little safety belt. The heels of your hands are going to hit the top of your pelvis and remind it to tuck down. So your pubic bone is going to come forward as your tailbone slightly tucks down. As little activation in your glutes as you can. Squeeze your inner thighs together. You don't have to touch. They're going to stay hip distance apart. but you just want to feel that internal rotation of your thighs. Palms to the low back. Inhale, draw your elbows towards one another, and then lift your heart. On your exhale, begin to press your hips forward over your knees. Even further, lift the heart, maybe drop your head back, or maybe tuck your chin towards your chest and just look forward. So this is option number one. You're going to stretch through the abdominals as you activate them, pulling the navel and the pubic bone slightly closer together. Lift in the heart, get longer. Exhale, get a little bit deeper. Inhale, come forward all the way. You can hinge at your hips, sit back on your heels if you like, or untuck your toes. So that's option number one for camel pose. I'll show you two more. And you can repeat this pose any number of times, working deeper or staying at that Goldilocks point, staying at your edge, staying right where you need to be. So from here, safety belts on, elbows come towards one another behind the back, lift the heart, exhale, start to press forward more. Lift through the heart on your inhale, exhale, maybe get a little bit deeper. And then from here, maybe you can take your right palm and find your heel. Lift up. Maybe then from your left palm, you can find your left heel. Keep dropping that tailbone down, pulling the pubic bone forward, and lifting the heart. Peel yourself open, crack your ribcage open like an egg. And again, you can drop the head if you feel comfortable. Sometimes if you have low blood pressure, it can make you feel a little bit dizzy, so maybe tucking the chin is the best option for you. Now to come out of this after 5 breaths or however long you feel comfortable, take your palms back, right, take your palm back, left. Press into your belly, pulling it tighter to lift yourself up. Option number 2. Take a moment. These extenders of the spine, these back bends, also stimulate your adrenal gland, which is down here by your kidneys and your low back. So sometimes you get a little rush. Next one, last option, the full expression. Untuck the toes this time. So the idea or the goal maybe, I try to not have a goal in yoga because it is a practice. You're always working just to be where you are and to be present. Is this third one though is the most advanced. Untuck the toes. Peel your heart open, lift, lift, lift through the chest on your inhale. Now on an exhale, press the hips forward without the assistance of your hands and drop your palms back. Breathe. So again, you can do the little baby one, the first one, which is the heart and your little Home Depot safety belt on. Or you could have your toes tucked. After 5 breaths, inhale, just try and peel yourself all the way up. Exhale, let it go. So that's the last one, our third pose of the day. It's probably one of my favorites ever. Heart openers are kind of my jam. So you can use a block for this, or you can use 2 pillows, and I'll show you both options. Go ahead and swing yourself around. Now, if having it on the second height your block is too much, we'll start small. We'll start on the lowest height. You're going to take that block, right about the mid of your back, in between your shoulder blades. And you can let your head hang down, or if that's not comfortable, grab a pillow, throw it behind you, double up your pillow, whatever you need. So you will feel that expansion. You want your shoulder blades to be just a little bit supported by the block, unless you have it on the height that is thinner, and then it will fit just between your shoulder blades. Now, if the block is too much for you, if this is too high, if you don't like it, if it hurts, or it's overstimulating, like I said, to that adrenal gland, that's what produces adrenaline. So it gives you that fire that kind of taps into your fight or flight reflex. So if you feel any kind of scariness in this pose, feel free to come out. Or, and I will show you the option with the pillows after I stop reveling in this, because it's such a great pose. Take your block away and use pillows. I prefer the block because I'm pretty back bendy naturally. But the pillows, if you want to have a little bit more of a restorative practice, are so gentle, supportive, and nice. And you can keep your knees together, you can let your knees fall apart, or you can extend them, so many options. We're going to stay here for a bit. Let's try and let it all go. Feel the abdominal muscles stretch a little bit. Maybe when you're here, you feel some relief in your low back. If you sit a lot all day, at a desk job, or maybe you have to sit all day and you're in a wheelchair or something to that effect, and keeping your spine upright like that and then kind of lagging in the low back can cause a lot of low back pain. Super common, right? These little extenders, these heart openers, are such a great cure, or at least a good partner in crime to combat that pain in your low back. Just close your eyes, take those big deep breaths in through your nose and out through your nose. And after you spend at least 15 breaths here, hopefully you have enough time that you can just lay here with this big open heart for 10 or 15 minutes. Take your time whenever you're ready. Wiggle your fingers and toes to wake yourself up. Bend your knees and gently fall to the side. You can fall to your right side for a little more restoration. You can fall to your left for a little bit of a pick-me-up. Give yourself a little press up to a seat. Thank you so much for joining me with your 3 poses for spinal extension. Namaste.